This is Roland Mumford with Mumford.law. I came across this news story in my feed and I wanted to discuss a very interesting issue. In this video, this involves some ICE protesters on a bridge trying to block traffic. And this is an interesting question regarding the interaction between law enforcement and these protesters. Is it FAFO, F around and find out, or is it justice deserved? I don't believe that protesters should be able to exercise their free speech to the extent that it violates other citizens' rights to exercise their constitutional rights of freedom of movement. I remember years ago when the mayor of Nashville allowed a bunch of protesters to block traffic and literally told police, hey, they can stay down there for 20 minutes and then let them go. There may be somebody pregnant on the way to the hospital, somebody with a medical emergency, maybe somebody that needs to see somebody in palliative care, a relative that may pass soon. We don't know what type of urgency somebody may have in sitting in traffic. I'm an advocate for free speech. I represent YouTubers who have been falsely arrested for exercising constitutionally protected activity. However, they do so legally. They do it on public sidewalks. They don't interfere in violating other people's rights or their right to exercise their own pursuit of happiness and freedom of movement. So I'm going to play this news video because I think it's a very interesting question, particularly where you see the scene where this officer beats this particular gentleman in the head. We have protesters here that are attempting to lock themselves or affix themselves to portions of this bridge to block traffic. And then you see an officer come and use what may arguably be excessive force. Why are you needing to punch this individual to the head numerous times? You can use a taser or a baton, and there were plenty of officers on scene to exercise force to accomplish restraint and compliance. So I want to see the debate in the comments. Do you think this is FAFO, or do you think this is justice deserved? Let me know what you think. Thank you. Here's a news video we're going to take a look at, and we're going to do a play-by-play analysis. And again, please let me know what you think. Is this FAFO or is this excessive force? This officer is punching this gentleman in the head. Is this excessive force, or is this permissible to get this guy to let go of this rail to remove himself from the bridge for the officers to be able to obtain compliance?
A protest unravels into chaos on the Roebling Bridge. Video here captured by a demonstrator shows police.
Right there, you see the guy is down on the ground. He's on his back. The officer is over him, and I believe there's another officer right there to assist. Why are these punches to the head necessary to accomplish restraint? He could either be using a baton or he could be tasing the guy. But punches to the head, which can cause TBI or head trauma, I don't think is appropriate. And again, I am a conservative for the most part. I believe in constitutional rights. Let me be very clear about that.
Officers struggling to arrest a man, hitting him repeatedly as he is brought to the ground. With that, we want to say good evening. And we need to tell you right from the start here, there are many questions about the violence that broke out tonight, again, on the Roebling Bridge. Some of the video of the incident is disturbing, and that video does not necessarily tell the whole story.
This all started as a demonstration in support of Amon Solomon. He is the former Children's Hospital chaplain who has been...
Now, right here, you see protesters trying to obstruct traffic. I don't know if this is a private vehicle or if this is law enforcement. I think this is completely unnecessary. And to some degree, you could say that these protesters are asking to be run over. And it's also an interesting question. If you looked at the Los Angeles riots, there were individuals that literally had to drive through protesters for fear of their own safety. Are they supposed to allow a bunch of protesters to come and damage their properties substantially, or possibly even harm them with serious bodily harm, or possibly kill them? If you fear for your safety, I think you should be able to run right through them It depends on the circumstances, though, obviously.
The demonstration was a peaceful one. It is the aftermath where things went wrong, and Local 12's Chris Arnold has been on the scene for all of it. Chris, explain how this all unfolded.
Well, yeah, Paula, we actually got an update here from Covington Police in just the last 15 minutes, and they say more than a dozen arrests were made out here tonight after they say several warnings were issued for the group on the Roebling Bridge to disperse, and after several people failed to do so. Now, I received this video from a man who was on the bridge as those who were marching encountered police tonight. Now, you can see here that non-lethal tactics are being used by an officer in this video, and that police have someone on the ground using physical force on that person. Now, the release from Covington PD tonight doesn't go into detail about why this use of force was used during the situation. I spoke with a woman who says she was there as this was all taking place and that she ended up with a bloodied wrist.
I'm American, and he just threw me down on the ground, and he bloodied me up, and I am 70 years old. This is my country. I am American. I told him that. I said, I don't know what you're doing. I said, you're crazy. Somebody, all of a sudden, he came over and beat this nice guy up next to me, young kid.
Beat him up.
Just threw him down on the ground and started punching at him and tasing him, just like he did two other people, and then he bloodied me up and threw me on the ground.
Well, as you see, tense moments on the bridge. And on the Ohio side, we saw a black SUV driving the wrong way down the bridge before all of that, as those who attended the rally were marching south. Now, this comes after police say another car was near the rally, antagonizing those who were taking part in it.
In my personal opinion, you put yourself in front of a vehicle, you ask to be pushed over by a vehicle.
As they protested peacefully. Now, Cincinnati police say some of the demonstrators proceeded to block the bridge. Others were walking down the bridge.
A couple of disorderly people in the street who refused to move out of the street when they were ordered out. They were blocking traffic, and we want to make sure everybody can.
And again, I want to be very clear. Police have every right to use necessary and lawful force to remove these people from the street who are impeding traffic. They can exercise their free speech on the public sidewalks without impeding upon the constitutional right of free movement of other citizens. I want to be very clear about that. But beating that guy in the head, the way he was punching him in the head like that, was absolutely unnecessary. It looks like someone else had a non-lethal force type of gun. I believe it shoots like a pellet. They were tasing them, and I think they were also spraying. But beating to the head like that, to cause head trauma like that, is absolutely unnecessary. I mean, if the officer's going to punch somebody, punch him to the body. But don't be punching to the head, which can cause far more serious bodily harm.
Exercise their First Amendment rights, but it has to be done in a safe and responsible manner. So we had to move them down the street. Three of them.
And the officer makes a
going
damn good point there.
Citations today and be turned loose.
Well, in that update from Covington Police tonight, Covington's police chief did say in a statement that they respect everyone's right to protest, but when demonstrators jeopardize public safety and violate the law, their officers take the appropriate action. Again, we don't know why this.
And again, the reporter there brings up something else I want to add. It's not just about the constitutional right to freedom of movement, but public safety. If these protesters are having an adverse impact upon public safety, they should certainly be removed. But again, only with lawful force and not excessive force.
Use of force was used on this situation that took place on the Roebling Bridge. For now, live here at the banks, Chris Arnold, Local 12 News.
Still a lot to unpack, and this is the scene just a few minutes ago outside Covington Police Headquarters. About a dozen protesters are chanting, "Drop the charges and release the protesters." Now, officers did come out to talk with them, but those officers left, and the protesters, we are told, remain at the scene at this hour. And we're going to continue to follow the developing story and bring you updates on air and online at local12.com.
Well, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. We're getting very close to 10,000 subscribers. I want to hit that goal by July 31st. Please click like, share, and subscribe. And please, I want to know what you think. Is this FAFO or is this excessive force? Let's drive the algorithm. Help me reach that goal, and I really appreciate your time. Have a great day.